All right, we're all ready? We're all recording? All right. So, okay. All right. Countdown. Up. Down. Up. What do we do? Up?
Up.
We did this enough times that you think I remember. Mm-hmm. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, my bad. I forgot. I genuinely forgot if we go on 3 or go on.
Did you not clap at all?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's why it sounded. That was really good.
I forgot that we don't. I forgot if we went on 3 or we went on go. You fucked me up with the.
We've all forgotten how to count.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Right.
That's true.
Okay, let's go.
Zach, you're adding for the list, by the way.
Oh, fuck, he only has 40 minutes. All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet to be now worth double the price. I'm Will, and joining me this week, Brandon.
Down with Microsoft.
Ills.
Down with capitalism.
Saf.
Down with Nintendo.
And Muzmel.
Up with GameStop.
Up with GameStop.
That's true.
We love GameStop. We've memed it to double its share price. We should have invested. We should have
Who
done
would have
it.
thought?
Should have invested in GameStop.
As soon as Reggie signed on, we should have.
They should have known their fortunes were going up. I can't believe Reddit memed GameStop's share price into going up. I cannot.
Is that really what happened there?
That's really what happened, yeah.
What?
r/Wall Street Bets and another group of people who also do like a lot of meme things that are also with like their money.
They just memed it into existence?
They kept being like, yo, GameStop's gonna be on the up and up. They like started spreading it around, and then the market took that to be real.
Wall Street is dumb as fuck.
It's all made up. It's all made up.
Stock rose 69%. Oh, and yes, it's all made up.
Nice.
Oh man, that's perfect.
I really thought that GameStop was like doing something good. Like, oh, maybe it'll be a good company. But wow, I guess. Yeah, no,
of course not.
You were a fool to believe so. But that's fine.
Whatever.
One day they might do something. You know who is doing something, though? Microsoft. We were alluding to it. We'll get to it. You lead with the controversy.
Hey there, it's Saf from the future. Just a quick little update here, because the segment that we're going to be talking about is Microsoft and their plans to increase the prices of their Microsoft Gold plans. Which, the reason why we're going to quickly update it is, in case you haven't noticed, since they've done this, within 24 hours, they've decided to reverse their changes. So that means no to the price hike and no to the paywall behind the free-to-play games. They're just seemingly going to go back to the way it was normally. We're still going to keep this segment in there because it is still interesting to note what exactly it was that they were planning to do, and obviously our opinions about that as well. But yeah, that's all I just needed to add. Thanks. Bye.
This just came out of nowhere. The exact opposite of what we expected from stuff we talked about just a few months back. Xbox Live Gold is not going free. It's going double the price. So, take your analog and make it match. But $60 for a 6-month period, $120 for a year, right? $10 a month. There is nothing that's been provided to allow for that increase in value. But the aspect
that's not entirely true, because there's a fifth game for games with gold this month.
So, I apologize.
A fifth game that's already on Game Pass been on Game Pass for years. What an extra value!
And it will never be taken off Game Pass either. So.
Yeah, so this is secretly, we can get to the things, but the reason I did this is because they want to move people to Game Pass Ultimate. Right? Because if you get Game Pass... Okay.
That's a dumb fucking reason.
Oh, it is, but to just... Public service announcement, if you have Xbox Live Gold right now, you can transfer that Gold subscription to Game Pass Ultimate for however long you would have had it. So if you just paid for your year, you can now get 11 months of games with Gold.
Yeah.
I mean, not games with Gold, excuse me, Game Pass Ultimate.
Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah. So this is... And Game Pass Ultimate is still the same price, so it's still the $10 of Game Pass plus the $5 of Gold. So it still keeps the same value.
So you can still get Xbox Live Gold for $60 a year, but you have to get Ultimate.
Yes. Now, like Il said, that is the reason why. It is not a great reason why. Not even a good reason why.
No.
This is, I think, very strange for a multitude of reasons. One, typically you would at least throw some bone to make it like it's just purely a money play, right?
Yeah. Right.
But two, doubling it is crazy. That's a crazy increase.
Like if it was like $12 or not 12, but if they brought it up by $1, or $2 a month more, but no, they literally just straight up doubled the price from $5 a month to $10 a month.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a ripoff. It's quite honestly a ripoff in comparison to what not only obviously Sony is offering with $60 a year, but Nintendo for $20 a year to play games online. And on top of that, they're free to play games like Fortnite and stuff. On PlayStation and Nintendo, you don't have to have that online service to play those games for free. On Xbox, you do.
Yeah.
So it is an absolute ripoff, and it's really shitty.
Yeah. Pay Online's obviously sort of was a sticking point early in last gen, right? Sort of just became accepted as
last.
Okay, I guess you're right. But then it sort of just become an accepted fact of reality, right? Which these companies have to be incredibly happy about because, good lord, they're making hand over fist, basically pure profit on it, Yeah. So to sort of try to rock that boat to get people to move to Game Pass when, I guess there is still an increase. You're making 3 times the amount you're making off someone otherwise, but it just feels like it's not. They clearly have numbers to make them think that this is worth it, but as consumers do not have to be happy about it anyway, right? Like this is such a weird thing to do without any way to communicate it, like soften the blow.
It's bad messaging. Like they should just be saying, okay, we're gonna go into Game Pass. This will be like Game Pass Lite, and then make it, whatever, some shit like that.
Yeah.
Instead of just doubling the price for apparently no reason. I mean, to other people who don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they say there's a 45-day wait period before you're going to get charged the extra cost, right? From when you receive an email notifying you. But there's going to be a lot of people that don't check that, don't know that, right? This was not a big release. This was not like a video they made, right?
I think I've seen an official statement from them either.
They made an official statement. They did a press release, or not. I don't know what they did. I know that they did release information officially.
Yeah.
In some one of their official channels. It still sucks. It's not. I mean, man, doubling the price of gold, that's just shitty. It's just shitty.
Yeah. Because it's that thing where it's like it has the vibe that they don't want you to know they did it, right? Because they know that they're doing something wrong, and also they don't want you canceling, so they're just not going to tell you, which is obviously whenever you're having to hide the news, it's bad news.
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, it's going to come out, especially. I mean, so obvious.
Yeah. So that just, obviously, they're shifting away from games with gold. Sony, I'm curious, what they do with Plus, because we spent a lot of time talking about, hey, why not cover, PlayStation Now, making it bigger, all those other things. They sort of haven't really made a huge step play on that, right? But we have said subscription services are the end goal for both of these companies, right? And even Nintendo. But this is, and we've praised a lot of Game Pass, right? We praise a lot of these other things. But
every time it comes up.
I know. But this is the downside, right? This is just we're forcing you into this thing rather than having it be a value that is just good enough to recommend on its own, right? We're just going to force you down this path.
That's right.
The paid online is so weird to me, especially for Xbox, because it's like now all their games are on PC, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I could have a Game Pass subscription for PC, play Sea of Thieves online with my friends on Xbox on an Xbox published game, right?
Yeah.
But I'm playing for free and my friends are paying for online multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
I think that's just weird. I think that like the value proposition there just doesn't make sense to me. And that's why I so believed in the idea that they were phasing out gold, right?
Yeah.
Because like in their current strategy, it just seems like a relic, I guess, right? Like it just doesn't make sense with Game Pass, you know?
Nope.
So I find it so bizarre that they took the opposite tact and they're like, hey, we're doubling the price of, and it's not even like a small increase. That's a ridiculous increase.
It feels like a price increase that's trying to force you out. You know, like it's like when you get your lease
you were
increase.
stupid not to have Game Pass, which is, I mean, whatever. Like, most Xbox owners should be subscribed to Game Pass anyway. But it's like, it's still real shitty. Like it's like,
yeah. Because there's going to be people out there that are just, I only play NBA Live, I only play Madden, I only play Call of Duty. I don't care about all these other games. I bought it for like a couple of games. I bought this console for a couple of games. I want to play those games with my friends. So they don't really see any value in Game Pass. There's people, those people do exist. And
just for clarification, no one plays NBA Live. It's all about NBA 2K. Just
I noticed.
Holy shit! I went in a time machine.
I was about to say, I was like, okay, you know what? If you're still an NBA Live homer, we will respect it.
But anyway, you understand what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Just,
NBA Live aside,
the funny thing about the strategy of like trying to push them out, if they didn't even fucking say it, then how are they supposed to know?
Yeah.
How are their consumers supposed to know?
Yeah, I mean, they'll find out when they get their credit card bill.
Check your email.
So that sucks. I don't know if there's a lot more to say about it, speculate wise, but just it's just a straight up bad vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of negative backlash. You got to wonder if they might. Who knows? Maybe they'll say, "Oh, oopsie," but they made a very big oopsie last gen, and it really hurt them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is that, but yeah,
I don't think this is that either. But you know how that gets. You know what I mean? Like saying, no used games like last gen, always online. Like just that stigma, like just hurt their brand and their reputation. So
yeah,
and they're doing a great job of building it back up. And this ain't a good look,
Yeah. Yeah. Now another thing that does not have a good look is the new RE game we got announced this week. Oh baby, already coming off the take. No.
Depends on which one you're talking about.
Well, let's talk about
the new announcement.
The new game first, right? And then we'll get to we'll end on the good note.
Okay.
So, Resident Evil had a showcase this week. It was 19 minutes long. They showed off the movie and special editions. We're not going to talk about those, but they did announce the multiplayer. It's like a semi-standalone. It's if you buy RE8, you will get this game. But the way they made it seem like is you could also buy this separately. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Maybe.
I think, as far as I know, it only comes with Village. Maybe they'll sell it standalone later, or maybe this is even day one. But it is like it's a separate executable on PC or your PlayStation or whatever, right? So it's not like you choose it from the menu in Village. It's a wholly separate download. But it just is packaged in with Village.
Is that how the multiplayer in Resident Evil 3 was as well? That other thing, whatever it was?
Resistance?
I don't know. I'm not sure if Resistance was standalone or if it was like in the menu of RE3.
Noah would know. He's the only person.
Somebody call up Noah.
Yeah, someone call up Noah. But this one is wholly standalone, regardless of whether that one was or not. Man, it looks bad.
Yeah, Project RE-verse, we should say what it is first, right?
RE-verse.
This is a 6-player deathmatch video game where you play as the characters from the Resident Evil series. And
everyone is here.
Everyone is here.
If you were in the RE Engine games of the last 3 years.
Now, what the sort of hook they showed besides that was like Leon gets shot, right? And he turns into like the tyrant or whatever, right?
Turns into Nemesis.
Or turns into Nemesis, which doesn't even line up, whatever. He turns into Nemesis, right? So there's seemingly, and like there's the other big monsters from there throughout, right? And I am mostly confused by the fact that so like RE8, we'll get to it in a little bit, but it's a looker, right? The RE engine makes games that look good, scaling from the Switch all the way up to next gen, right? I don't know what happened here.
Yeah, it's a weird art style choice. It almost looks like they went for this comic book style.
Yeah. It's like cell shaded a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which for Resident Evil, which is like, these are still supposed to be horror environments, doesn't, like, it clashes, right? Like,
yeah, I don't.
Well, it feels like they're just reusing a bunch of assets from more realistic looking games, but then they just threw this, like, shitty cell shader on there. And so it's just really mismatched, ugly look. It looks disgusting. The way the trailer was shot was really stupid, too. Like...
Yeah.
Like you would see someone shoot and like you would hear the sound effect, but they'd already have moved on to the next scene. Like while you're hearing the sound effect of what just happened right before that.
Yeah.
Also, everyone aiming in that trailer was terrible.
Yeah.
It seems like atrocious to aim in that game from what I saw.
That's the thing, right? It's like, you don't want to have your takeaway from the trailer be, man, shooting that gun looks bad. But like, just like you said, the sound design, the feedback, the way that it was like demonstrated what you were doing, right? Like all of it just combined to be like, when I'm playing the game, I'm not going to be feeling good, right? And which is weird because Resident Evil sort of has nailed down the idea of like horror, but like you're like, the shooting in RE4 or RE2 remake is still good. Right, like it still controls well, whereas like this one, it's sort of like it feels like they just lost that somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I mean the game I don't know what Capcom's obsession is with like these dumb like multiplayer. I get they probably just want they want a big multiplayer hit. They want another big multiplayer hit, I should say, because they have Monster Hunter, right? But like. I mean, for one, like, these games just look like dog shit, right? Yeah. And I think also just, like, packaging them in with these single-player games, first RE3, now RE Village, and I'm sure they've done it before that. I don't really get the strategy because I feel like I don't think they're selling a single extra copy of these games by advertising these free multiplayer games.
No.
Yeah, it's
right?
not like a selling point. I don't.
It's not a selling point, and it's like, and then the people who are interested in the single player games and were buying it regardless, I don't think they're touching this multiplayer game. I don't think they give a shit.
Yeah, I think there is one that is, which is like, if the goal is right, like you said, if they want a multiplayer hit where you shoot a gun, right? What's their biggest IP where you shoot a gun? Resident Evil. We're just gonna keep making this work until it happens, right? But like. For casuals, like you said, doesn't move anything. But for hardcores, like they have a multiplayer mode that they love called Mercenaries.
Yeah,
right?
I was just about to mention that. Man.
Like, and so it's this thing. It's like it's right there, and you just continually refuse to just do that thing, right? And I mean, and the other thing is, I wonder how much Resistance messed with this game because I feel like. Once again, if there's anything that you could compare Resident Evil multiplayer to that is a big genre right now, it's that like 4v1 horror monster versus survivors game.
Yeah.
Right? But they already blew that idea on RE3 Remake. And so it's sort of like, well, now what do we do? Like we have all these horror, these iconic villains, to be fair, right? Like Nemesis is just well known, right? Even like Bauer in 7, like these are all, I recognize them. But like this isn't the way I want to play as them. Like that feels very silly to me.
Do we know the impressions of Resistance? I never really got a sense of how people were feeling about that game.
I think people had a good weekend with it. Is the vibe I got.
I think it's impossible to tell one way or another because like the player base it was never there. It's just like no one played that shit. No one played that shit.
Well, Noah played it.
Well, Noah played it, but like how long did Noah play it?
Yeah, he.
And Noah's also an anomaly in that like he will he will openly try RE multiplayer games and give him an honest shake every time, right?
Every single time.
This is so.
He loves Outbreak.
He loves Resident Evil. To be fair, Outbreak, I've heard good things about.
Yeah.
Hardcore RE fans love.
I'm saying he has a beloved attachment to an RA multiplayer game already.
Yeah, and so Noah's, but like I think Noah is a huge anomaly, and even he's not really playing it for that long anyway, right?
No,
You can't sell Noah, you can't sell anyone.
So it's it's like I don't know. I feel like they're better off if they want to do a multiplayer game. I feel like they're better off just. I mean, first of all, it'd be nice if they just make a good one. These all look like shit.
That's the biggest piece missing, I guess.
I think for Resident Evil, it really just needs to be PvE. Or you can't have fucking Leon fighting Jill. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, maybe you could, but I think my other takeaway though is like why package them in with. I don't think that strategy is working either, right? Of like,
no, it makes it seem like an afterthought, kind of. They should just go free to play at that point. You know,
because the thing with RE3 Remake was, the game's short, right? It's only 5 or 6 hours, so this is the other, value edition, right? RE8, I mean, who knows how long it'll be, right? But this is straight up a new mainline, right? Like, if there's something that will sell someone, it's just that, that's enough to stand on its own. And it's sort of, I don't say it diminishes RE8 anyway, right? Like,
but it also just adds nothing. It's just like, why are you there?
And it's so weird because, like, I didn't know this. I don't know. Maybe you can offer some insight, any of you, if you know this. So Capcom has a lot more English producers than I thought they do at this point. Because there was Matt. I think Matt Walker was his name for DMC5, right? There was this guy for RE8, and then like they throw to the Japanese guys doing the multiplayer thing, right? And I'm very curious, just like. Obviously, last gen was defined by Capcom trying to chase the Western Dragon a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And then sort of they found their footing when they came back. But like, it's these people that very clearly like, like what's his name, the DMC guy, and even this guy in the interviews I read with him, like these are people that like are obviously did not work on these original games, but are extremely reverent and understand the elements that work beneath them, right? And I feel like
what worked well for them, like why they were so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm just very curious, like, if there's sort of that, like, Sonic problem, right? Of, like, there's a certain amount of people that get these franchises within Capcom, and then there's the other group that are sort of like, we're going to try to make it work in other forms that just aren't natural fits, And that's how you get things that sort of seem to hit the perfect tone like RE2 make, and then things that hit sort of the weird tone with, like, RE-verse.
That's definitely something to think about, because... I didn't even think about it like that, but I was surprised also, when that guy came on screen, and I was like, wait a minute, this guy's not Japanese. I thought all of the Resident Evil games, at least the main line, were just like focused on mostly Japanese developers. I had no idea.
I'm sure that it still mostly is, right? But just,
I mean, it also could just be they're putting out the people in front who speak English, because it's just...
I mean, but they didn't do that for RE-verse, right? Like...
Yeah, but their main presenter was mainly an English speaker. I feel like because Resident Evil Village has that Fabiano, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
But it also has a Japanese producer, right? So,
yeah, like DMC5, Itsuno and what's his name? So
DMC5, like Itsuno was the main guy, right? But they still put out that other guy. I don't know his name. But I don't know. I think we're reading too into things here with this. I think we're gonna get a little too.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I think it's interesting though, just to think about it. Of course, speaking of, we alluded to a lot. RE8 got its first gameplay shown off. Right, it had a. It's funny. All these things aren't surprises because of that, like, deadly disgusting leak or whatever that website was. Because spoilers, there's a big vampire lady. She has ladies that work underneath them. They're all into man blood. They're really wanting Ethan Winter's man blood. That's a weird part of that trailer.
Man blood. Why is it so much better?
Yeah. I have a question. Mm-hmm. For those of you that played RE7, Ethan Winters, they kept acting like, oh, here you are, Ethan Winters. They said his name like a bunch in this trailer, like, oh, he's back. he's like literally faceless. Like even in the renders, they don't show his face for RE8. And I think are they either setting this up for a twist, or do they just think that we have way more attachment to this guy than we do? To be honest,
Like, did he become famous?
I don't. Like in universe,
No.
clearly,
Somehow.
Well, I guess.
but not in real life.
Did
Playing.
he drop an album or something? What happened?
Maybe.
Playing through Resident Evil 7 doesn't give off that vibe that he would become famous at any point. But
No,
Yeah.
I think that's the weirdest thing to me, right? But besides that, they are like, look at this castle you're walking around in. That's the main thing they show off, right? There's still obviously the village part of Village that I think is probably the earlier part of the game, and the castle's probably later, not unlike RE4. But
Yeah, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say like village and then a castle and then the item sorting. I'm getting a lot of RE4 vibes.
And
Yeah.
the merchant.
Yeah.
And the merchant,
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
They're going hard for the RE4 vibes. I feel they're very much like, hey guys, remember RE4? Except in a 7 style game, right? But
Yeah.
and that's not to say this
Well-
game won't have its own identity, but like it's very clearly like trying to nudge towards.
Really?
there is worse things that you could take inspiration from.
Yeah, it's just strange.
I mean, I guess it's funny because you think about it. You're like, oh, I guess RE4. We have more distance from RE4 than RE4 had from RE1 by a wide margin, right? So I guess we're at the point where you can pull on it for nostalgia, right? Like here's the attache case, like pop in the chat, you know. But yeah, I think the things that are the most interesting to me, right? I guess this is also true of RE4, but is when RE is willing to get away from zombies, right? We still have those zombies, right? In RE2 make, and like I said, that's the balancing act they've been able to strike well this generation. But like with the vampire lady, with the like werewolves, with all these other things, I'm sort of like, oh, I want to know what their deal is. I'm curious what these bug ladies are up to, even though the bugs flying out of your skin makes me uncomfortable, you know? And I think that's the thing you have to have with the horror monsters. You have to be curious about them in addition to being afraid of them, you know?
Yeah, and maybe, as the internet has told me in the last 24 hours, maybe horny about them as well.
Extremely. People are extremely horny about them.
One tweet that really got me is the one where it's like, am I supposed to be scared or horny, Capcom?
Okay, so I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but
Okay.
I will. I think Village will be a very good game because Capcom's on a hot streak, RE is on a hot streak. Well, maybe not RE3, but still, right? RE7, which is the team that's making this game, was great. RE2 was great, right? But like, I don't know if anything they showed in this showcase necessitated like in like a 17, 18 minute long showcase, right?
right.
I feel like this very easily could have been a release date trailer. By the way, the game has a release date.
Oh yeah, May 7th.
Right.
Yeah, there's details we can get to on that. Sorry, go ahead.
So May 7th it's coming out, which is pretty soon. But I like, this could have just been a release date trailer, and then they could have like revealed Reverse at any time as well. You know, like I don't know what made this had to be a showcase, and also like. Again, I really genuinely think the game is going to be great. I have full confidence in Capcom. But nothing they showed I thought was particularly, like, exciting.
It was a lot like they were like, here we're finally going to show the first gameplay, right? And they kept saying that like in the build up, we're going to see your first gameplay, and it's sort of like, okay,
Jumping around.
you have a gun and you can guard. Was sort of the
you
things
can block.
they showed.
You can block, yeah.
And like you can break vases to get items, and you're like, these are things that I like
Yeah.
to do, but they're not new, you know.
Yeah, it was just a weird. I thought it was such a weird way to show off this game, you know. And then they released a demo as well, but that demo, and like, it's conceptually cool, right? I can't explain it. Can someone else explain it?
The demo is like you just walk around in the castle, right? It's like a tour of the castle.
Well, and it takes place narratively before the start of the game, right?
Okay.
RE8. And it's sort of like Kitchen. I don't know if you ever remember Kitchen for RE7.
I do remember Kitchen. Kitchen was wicked fucking cool, though.
Yeah, well, Kitchen was exciting because the game was announced and it was there the next day. And you're like, the same day, you're like, what? Right, like, that's crazy.
We didn't know that it was Resident Evil 7 at the time,
Yeah.
which was really fucking cool.
Right, and it feels like they were trying to replicate that, but one is PS5 exclusive, so a bunch of people can't play it. And two, which I guess
Fuck is that?
Kitchen was also PlayStation exclusive. But the other thing is, there's not, like you said, like a shadow drop is a thing that's like a capper to an exciting presentation, right? And because this presentation didn't like have people like standing out of their chairs screaming, it felt like it fell flat a little bit, right? Like people,
I feel like for hardcore Resident Evil fans, they liked it a lot.
oh yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure, but like and maybe I'm just speaking as someone who's not a hardcore Resident Evil fan, right? But like just nothing that they showed, and then even the demo, like again, conceptually cool, but like I don't care enough to play that. Like to what is essentially just like a check out the environments we made. Like I don't get a feel for what the gameplay is like at all. It tells me nothing about what this game is like.
Sure. I mean,
So
I
it's
think with
just
a
like-
horror game that's a little bit more
Absolutely play
okay, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would play it, but I'm really big into Resident Evil, but I can't because I don't have a fucking PS5.
No PS5.
No.
Thanks for that.
Speaking of, once again, speculation station we're pulling in. This and the Monster Hunter thing, but especially this one, we've had this exact type of like 1-2 with Resident Evil before, and it's been in state of plays and in E3 conferences, right? And this sort of is like, oh, we're doing the same playbook, but we don't have that wider Sony thing to put ourselves in, right? So I wonder if just that sort of the lack of a wider Sony state of play or whatever to put themselves in sort of is why they had this weird half step, right? Like with Monhun, there's just a lot of like different things you can show. Like here's a new monster, here's a bunch of returning monsters, right? You can fill that time. With Resident Evil, you can't,
Yeah, a lot of it just felt like filler, and then like there's obvious stuff like, oh, Division 2 costumes, like whatever, like sure, announce that, but like I don't care, like,
that was a weird one. But yeah.
I don't know. I thought that just the way they showcased the game was just really, really strange. Still think it'll be great though. But yeah, I don't know.
Like I said, I'm very, very excited. Just it's hitting a lot of the notes that I like. So
Yeah, I can't wait to play it, honestly. I mean, I love Resident Evil, so. And Resident Evil 7, very good. So I have faith that this will be as good, maybe better. Who knows?
So I have in front of me a time machine. We're going to go inside to transport. Now it's 2021, so 10 years in the past. So 2011, because we're going another year in review. We're not done. The people raved about it last time. 2011 in video games.
Wait. Before we move on, can we talk about the other piece of RE news?
Oh yeah, this is a good piece that I posted this earlier.
About the RE4 remake that isn't announced.
Rumor, yeah.
Yeah, rumor that is a game that everyone and their mother knows exists, but is not announced. RE4 make was going to be made by the RE3 team, is now being brought internally at Capcom.
That's great news.
And also I think the reason why is interesting, right? Is like, well, so M2, to be fair, like M2, that's the studio they brought on for RE3, right? And they didn't do like, they assisted with RE3. They didn't make
they were
RE3,
not like guiding
right?
them.
Yeah.
They assisted with RE3 make, but they were going to take the lead on RE4 make. And the reception that RE3 make reportedly kind of spooked M2, and they wanted to make a remake of 4 that was more true to the original game, right? And apparently Capcom was not happy with that vision. Apparently the reason they're moving internally is because they themselves want to branch out more with what they're doing with the remake. They don't want it to be like a one-to-one remake of RE4, right?
Sure.
And I think that's fascinating. I think, like, they want to make changes. And I think for RE4 especially, that we talked about it before, like an RE4 remake that is one-to-one just makes very little sense because of how well that game is modern enough that it doesn't really make sense to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. It already holds up. We don't need a one-to-one remake. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd be more interested to see what they do differently. me.
Yeah, so now we're gonna get a different take on RE4, and that actually is exciting to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. Oh, sorry,
I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree, but then Final Fantasy VII Remake, I
like
feel bad about the end.
Well,
I like FF7.
this isn't Square.
I think we can say FF7 Remake, even if there's personal qualms, largely worked, right? Like in terms
I
of
mean,
reception.
yeah, but it largely worked when it was mostly following the same timeline.
Well, no, but even the gameplay is also drastically different, right?
I mean,
like they completely reinvented.
I'm
that
okay
game.
with the gameplay being different. That doesn't change
Yeah.
like the story or anything like that. But they changed
I mean,
the
if
story,
we look at
which is
RE2,
the problem for me.
Yeah, if we look at RE2 Make, though, I think that's sort of what you're hoped for, right? Like, that game keeps the spirit of RE2 story. It adds a few little bobs and ends, right? But largely still the same. But the gameplay, I feel like we could rank the original RE2 and RE2 Make separately on the list, right? They are distant enough,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And hopefully with RE4, there's a similar thing, right? Now, I'm very curious what that is, because RE2 Make is still playing off of RE4 in a lot of ways, right? In its template. Whereas
Yeah.
for RE4, it's like, well, do we make it first person? Like, do we do something else
That
that's
would be weird.
drastically different? Like, I don't know. That's, I think, it's a tough question to answer, but I mean, it's good that they're wanting to undertake it, I guess.
RE4 Remake as a RE7 style game would be so weird. I don't know if I'd like that.
I feel like the word remake has become way more nebulous than it originally was.
Yeah, sure. Right. There's remakes, there's reimaginings, there's
Remaster.
tons of remasters.
Reboots.
Yeah.
But remaster is like very straightforward.
Well, remastered. Well, yeah, you would think it's straightforward, but then like Activision calls like the Crash and Tony Hawk and Spyro remakes. They call those remasters because they're largely the same game. It's just I guess the graphics are a lot better, right?
Yeah.
But to us, a remaster is like literally the same game. It looks the same. It's up-resed. Maybe they changed a few things here and there, right?
Yeah.
Whereas those Crash remakes, all those remakes I mentioned, are from the ground up, but they are exactly the same, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But to me, that would be a remake. To Activision, that's a
Yeah.
remaster.
I agree.
I'm fine with it being called a remaster. I don't know.
But then what is our previous definition of a remaster?
Oh,
An upscaled
Yeah,
port?
this is-
All words are made up. They're all not real.
Sure, but I mean, we'd
social
like to have
justice.
like a consistent definition.
I'm sure, like within each company, there's some level of consistency. Actually, there probably isn't. But
Yeah, probably. not.
the industry will not agree. They'll say whatever they think will help sell the most copies, right? But yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. That is important. We briefly got out of the time machine to go back to 2021. We're back in 2011 now.
Don't get back in that time machine yet.
Oh, God, what happened
Oh,
now?
yeah.
Well, there was a certain company that got sold to another
Oh,
company. Or
well, they didn't get sold. They got like brought in.
They got shit
Brought
canned.
in.
They got brought in, folded in.
Vicarious Visions is no longer making their own games, despite making a very successful Tony Hawk 1+2 remake that we're going to be playing as part of our New Year's resolution this year, by the
and
way.
Also very
yeah,
successful Crash 1, 2, and 3
Crash
remake.
Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just fresh off that, they say, we don't need you to be making new games. We need you to be a support studio for Blizzard, which is extremely Activision. There's a ton of companies that did this for COD over the years. And I guess Blizzard is now becoming a COD-like institution where you're just going to have that main company and then probably a bunch of satellite studios because Blizzard doesn't make games fast enough.
Dumb.
It's very funny that they took this team and put it into Blizzard, considering Vicarious Visions did such a great job with Crash Bandicoot and Tony Hawk, 1 and 2. But then Blizzard, or whoever Blizzard contracted to do the remake for Warcraft 3, did a shit job.
Dog shit.
It's true.
So funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think. So go ahead, Moose.
This sucks because like I was very interested in what Vicarious Visions were going to do because they brought two franchises that I really loved on the PS1 back in such a wonderful way, right?
Yeah.
So
Critical acclaim, everything.
especially like gameplay wise, the way they look, just everything about them was just perfect, and it's just, and I was really liking this like streak of like the Crash remakes, CTR remake, like Spyro, then the new Crash game, and all these string of games that they've been making, I've been really into. I've really enjoyed all of these games, and knowing that one of the studios responsible for some of that is now getting turned into a Blizzard support studio, that it's just, oh man, like I feel like, is Toys for Bob gonna suddenly turn into a support studio? And this
Everyone's days are.
I mean, and Activision has history of this, right? And it sucks that Blizzard, because Blizzard makes these massive games apparently that they just cannot do on their own, including Overwatch 2, which I don't even what the hell? What why?
It's been radio silent for.
How is Overwatch 2 taking this long? It just feels like Blizzard is so incompetent, and then because of their incompetency, stuff I like is suffering from that, and I'm just sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a bummer because it's sort of we forgot for a little bit how Activision operates, right? Which is from even back in the Guitar Hero days, they have 2 or 3 franchises that they will invest wholly in and nothing else, basically. Right? That was the Kotick vision, and like for COD, it's lasted by some miracle over a decade at this point, right? That cash cow refuses to quit. But we were like, oh, they're doing Crash, they're doing Spyro, they're doing Crash Remake, the Crash like racing, right? All these other things. Tony Hawk's coming back, right? But then sort of it's like, oh, no, but eventually they will revert to the norm, to this sort of very uninteresting but largely lucrative strategy, which sucks.
Yeah.
So, sorry about Curious Visions. Hopefully Tony Hawk can get some other games sometime soon. All right, this time I am pressing the button. We're not going back. We're in 2011. What do you think was Game of the Year for 2011?
I don't know, Skyrim?
You nailed it in one. It was Skyrim. 11/11/11 was the release date of Skyrim. It's very easy to remember that this was won the collective game of the year. Sort of now I think people make fun of it. It's a lot of jokes, but at the time, obviously huge success commercially and critically. But it was not the biggest seller of the year. What was?
I don't know, Call of Duty?
Call of Duty.
This is probably within the calendar year, yes. But there's a game that came out this year that Lifetime has beaten any Call of Duty.
Minecraft.
It is Minecraft. It came out 2011. Minecon, they did it, which is weird. You don't think about that. Here's a question.
I never think about that.
Yeah,
like I said, Publisher of the Year. Who do you think had the most games that got above a 90 on Metacritic?
Sony.
I mean, there's only a couple that get this, and the answer is yes.
Nintendo?
Sony and Nintendo. They did it. They tied. They both had 3 new games and 1 port each, which was for Sony was the Shadow of Colossus and Eco Collection. For Nintendo was Ocarina of Time 3D. Right? So that's weird.
What were their new games?
Their new games, Super Mario 3D Land for Nintendo, Skyward Sword, and this one I cannot believe got a 90. Pushmo.
Yeah!
Oh yeah, that did get a 90. Yeah.
I can believe that.
Deserved,
Yeah, I agree with
I'm
that.
surprised
Well deserved.
Skyward Sword got a 90, but
It's at a spoiler. It's a 93, which is the lowest a Zelda game mainline has reviewed. I think.
Oh
I think.
3D Zelda
Zelda
I got a
games.
10 from IGN.
3D Zelda games review really well.
Yeah. For Sony, it was Little Big Planet 2, Uncharted 3, and MLB 11 The Show. Which another weird part of the games that 90 plus, MLB, NBA 2K, FIFA all got above a 90 on Metacritic.
Jeez.
Well,
They must have just got a new engine or something at that point.
I think
these games used to be beloved and have slowly lost
like
goodwill.
NBA, do you say NBA 2K or do you say NBA Live?
Yeah.
No, it must have been 2K because that's
2K.
the year that Live died. That's the year that Live died. Yeah. And
See, I went in the time machine, by the way, earlier.
oh, you were that? Yeah.
You were. That's right.
Yeah.
No, and 2011 is funny because I would say for NBA 2K, I can't speak for the other sports games, but that's actually deserved for 2K that year because 2K made some really fundamental changes that led it to becoming the juggernaut that it is now, that it's become over this last decade. Obviously, sadly, they've also taken that success and using it to be real shitty and scummy. And also the game itself has gotten more buggy and shitty over time. But 10 years ago, they were on this was as at that point, the best basketball game that had been made. That was the year that they pulled out Michael Jordan
Excuse me. The best basketball game ever made.
All right, it's NBA Simulator. Are you happy? Basketball Simulator. But that was the year that they pulled out Michael Jordan. And we're like, hey, you want to play as this guy? Plays the classics. It was nice when sports games were actually trying.
I know. And that's why like Madden was enemy number one, right? Because look, all the other big sports, sorry, hockey and golf fans, we're all killing it,
That's what I used to
I also wonder if the other part of it is like that, like, did the reviewers just not give a shit? Maybe like they're just like, but like I'm not sure if that's true because I genuinely think the NBA deserved it. But anyway,
all right, we had 3 games that all got 96s on Metacritic, which is a lot for a year. Actually, can you guess those 3?
Portal 2.
Yes.
Pushmo.
No. Got a
LA
90.
Noir.
No.
That
didn't even get the
90s
90s.
something, surely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of games that came out around that time.
You already named one of them.
Skyrim.
Hilariously, the literally broken PS3 version of Skyrim. It will break eventually. Was still at a 92.
Wow.
And then one more game. This is the highest reviewed one of the
Mass
entire
Effect
year.
2.
No, that was last year.
Okay.
Though technically the PS3 port was that year, but whatever. It's a licensed game.
Batman Arkham something City.
Batman Arkham City has a 96 on Metacritic.
What a good fucking game.
When did Asylum come out?
Asylum was, I think, 2009.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The game's older than I fucking thought.
Yeah. So
they still hold up. Real good games.
Yeah. But then I now have the events of the year, right? Let's see what happened, right? And see what you remember. What do you think was the first big event of the year? Just through your mind, what do you recall anything?
No.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time 3D came out.
Well, I mentioned a couple.
The Nintendo 3DS
what happened
launch.
first? The Nintendo 3DS launched in Japan in February, March in America.
This was a weird time for Nintendo because it was like the Wii was pretty much on its way out, right?
Yeah.
So nobody
We had
really
the
cared
Swan
about
Song.
it.
3DS had a very I was gonna say notoriously slow start, but the Wii U kind of erased any of that legacy, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
yeah,
3DS did
the
lead
3DS
to
got
like
a bad launch.
the first year price cut. That was within months.
3DS,
That-
that shit.
We'll
shit
we'll
was
get
like
there.
It was
$300,
$250.
It,
And then
$250. It dropped
Right.
$70.
they dropped it to was it 170 or 180?
It was 180 because it was 70. I looked it up. And then
crap,
for those
money.
that bought it, the ambassador program that gave away.
Ambassador program.
20
You know what?
games.
I'll take those Game Boy Advance games for the $70.
For $70, really?
Hey, you know what? I can still play Metroid Fusion on my 3DS right now.
That $70.
Right.
Fusion.
That $70 was worth it to make on your friends list. You could put your favorite game on the 3DS, and I made it the ambassador certificate for so long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's dumb.
See, that's
I respected
the
that.
soul that's missing Nintendo now.
I respected that so much, Wendy.
How many launch games can you
a
name for the
dumb reason.
3DS?
Launch games for the 3DS?
Pilot
Street
Wings.
Fighter 4?
Steel
Pilot Wings,
Steel
Street Fighter
Diver,
4, 3D edition. Steel Diver.
Nintendogs plus cats. I don't remember the versions, but they were.
Yeah, you
Pilot
named all the
Wings.
Nintendo games.
I
We've
said
done
Pilot
those.
Wings,
now.
yeah.
Pilot Wings. Oh, you said Pilot Wings?
Yeah, that's all the first party games. Then there was like Ghost Recon or
Shadow Wars.
That's, yeah.
Shadow
There was
Wars.
I mean
something
Splinter
else,
Cell, not
right?
Ghost Recon.
No, it was Tom
Exactly.
Clancy's Ghost Recon Shadow
came out
Wars.
as well.
You're right.
It's Ghost Recon Shadow Wars.
There was no Splinter Cell. It was just Ghost Recon.
Oh. I remember the Tom Clancy game that came out, though, was like people were
Yeah,
like,
that's the Ghost Recon
hey, I
game.
know 3DS launch
Yeah,
is
that's the
shit,
Ghost Recon
but
one.
this is actually a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
That was 100% Ghost Recon. That was a really fun game.
It was all There was one Tom Clancy game and it's Ghost Recon Shadow.
And then there was like Rayman 3D was on there
Oh,
Uh-huh.
which is a dumb
because it was
game,
Rayman 2.
There's a lot of 3Ds. There's Pro Evolution Soccer 2011 3D.
Madden 3D.
There was, there was.
it
There
is-
was Ridge Racer 3D.
Did someone mention Street Fighter or am I crazy? Someone mentioned Street
I
Fighter.
can't believe the 3DS has a Madden game and the Switch doesn't.
Yeah. Super Monkey Ball 3D also happened. Bust a Move Universe.
Oh.
So there it is. But then
Did Tekken come out on
That was
on
later.
launch, or was it later?
that was later.
What a bad.
That was a
bad
terrible launch.
for-
Especially, I mean,
Bad
the thing is, like, you
launch.
buy a Nintendo system for the first party games, right? And those first party games
Yeah.
are. I mean, I don't know if they were bad, but they were definitely not worth $40 or $250 to get the console. You
Hell
know?
no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I had more fun playing fucking Face Raiders than I did playing Idle Wings on that.
Oh, God almighty.
These Raiders.
Yeah, that should be included, I guess. And the AR cards, also a launch game. Now I've had a thought where we go through at some point and just rank all the launches, just go over them and then make a list. But that's for another time. This would be low.
This is pretty low on there.
Yeah, it is.
But now, what was already a rough start was made worse because the Japanese earthquake shocked Japanese game development and sort of shut down most of it for all studios for a good 6 to 8 months in March. Obviously, the loss of life is the primary thing, but this leads to a ton of problems for Nintendo in particular with getting the 3DS off its sort of back on track, right? 3D Land comes out later in the year, spoiler alert, and that's one that like you can clearly see where the trouble development affected that game. In March, this is part of it, everyone. The greatest fear that we ever had as gamers. Zynga, aka the Farmville people, went public as a company on the stock market and premiered to the biggest opening a video game company has ever had.
Oh.
By the way, Zynga's in the news again. They might be getting acquired by Tencent.
They might be getting acquired by Tencent. So clearly that IPO went well for them. Yeah, this wasn't even just mobile gaming the fear. It was specifically Facebook gaming is going to lead to the death of video games.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If only.
Goddamn moms playing Farmville.
If only. So yeah, that was a weird one. I can't believe this all happened in the same year. My brain separates them. Remember the PSN outage?
Yeah, that happened.
Oh, that was this year?
That was 2011. Lasted. They got hacked. A lot of people's information got stolen, and
That was bad.
Wait,
lasted
was
for
this,
20. Sorry.
Sorry, was this the one that was because of like South Korea, or was this earlier
No,
than
that's
that?
a different one that happened later.
No, this was
That was the other time
So
Sony got hacked by North Korea.
North Korea.
No. This was the infamous like PSN outage. It lasted like a month, I think, or something like that.
20 days
Huh?
it lasted.
Oh, is that what? That's the
You
one.
cannot
where
play
it's like,
online for
20 days, yeah, so almost a month. And
Yeah.
That's the one where Sony had to do a public
yeah,
apology as well.
they did an apology tour, which my in my estimation is the best thing that ever happened to Sony. I think
Yes.
the apology tour did so much for their public image. You know, that's when they launched PS Plus. You know,
I was about to say, yeah, this is where the PS Plus game library starts, and we wouldn't have Game Pass and a ton of other stuff today, probably if not for that, And the other thing was when they were sorry, they gave away a bunch of free games just for players, right? If you had Plus, which is why games with gold games exist, right? Like
That was the year, man. All these companies fucked up and then gave us free shit. The ambassador program and then this.
Yeah.
and then after that, I didn't know this. It took till this long. Video games were finally protected as free speech in the United States in June. But there was a Supreme Court hearing about this specifically, or a Supreme Court case specifically about this. I don't know if you remember this. There was a lot of speculation that it was not going to go in the way of the video game industry, and that there would be a whole new era of censorship. Spoilers, that didn't happen.
run it back.
Yeah, bring it. Come on, give it another shot. And then not a lot happened after June, but December there was another thing. Can you guess? Another big thing. Another big
The big thing.
L word.
Christmas?
Love.
In Japan, the
Lesbian?
PS Vita launched. Another launch.
The
PS
Vita
Vita.
did launch at the tail end of the year in Japan. Yeah,
Oh shit! The 3DS killer.
the 3DS killer.
Yeah, the 3DS
Colin
killer.
Moriarty wrote an article.
He's assured us. He has a lot of charts and graphs.
That touchpad in the back, you can't get anything better than that.
That came up recently on my Twitter feed under the account Poorly Aged Things. It was nice to see.
Actually, I think we secretly like the Vita. But
I love the
Vita's
Vita,
great.
but
Vita's
it is
Yeah.
undeniable that it is a catastrophic failure, right? It is a.
Sure.
I mean, Also,
Dramatically worse than the PS.
dramatically worse than the PSP, dramatically worse than the 3DS, you know. Killed off Sony's handheld business, right? And I mean, if you want to talk about a system that was marred by problems, I mean, come on, you know, like non-existent first party, like truly non-existent first party.
Yeah.
Well, I have the launch games in front of me.
A lot of self-inflicted wounds there.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember the E3 this year. It made me laugh. It was largely going well, and then they're like talking about the Vita, and they're like, and we're exclusively partnering with AT&T to provide service, and the crowd went boo, because that was when AT&T was like exclusive with iPhone, right? And they were like enemy number one.
I forgot that they did the Vita 3G. What? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you even try that?
I don't know. But you talk about the need of first party support. I do have in front of me the launch games from specifically Sony Computer Entertainment America. Can you tell me what they were?
No, Gravity Rush came out in
No, that
June
was launch
2012.
window.
I know because it came out on my birthday.
Oh my god.
The Uncharted.
Golden Abyss must
Yeah, I
have
was gonna say
been.
the Uncharted Golden.
Golden
Golden
Abyss.
Abyss was
Oh my God.
their day one. Yep.
Okay, yeah,
I forgot all about that. Was it
I
Assassin's
have
Creed?
that game.
Yeah.
There was no
Pretty good
Assassin's
game.
Creed. That's not first.
Wipeout, I'm pretty sure was
Wipeout
2048, yeah.
2048.
that was. Also, did they publish Luminous?
They did not publish
Yeah.
it, but it was their day one, so you were right about that.
I remember because I saw the launch lineup and I was like, this is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it's a semi-decent launch lineup. There was Hot Shots Golf World Invitational.
Yes,
That's good.
Do you remember Escape Plan?
vaguely, yes.
It had the little like ink blob guys with like the white masks. You can still have them as your like PlayStation icons all these years
I think they
later.
ported that to PS4.
They did. Yeah.
Quite a
Sony
lot of
remembers.
games
Or maybe they
for-
didn't.
They, yeah.
They had a
they
Super
did.
Stardust game their day one, which is pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Super Stardust,
among other
but-
things.
Yeah.
Yep. And also Mod Nation Racers Road Trip, in case you want to
Wow.
pick that one up.
The Mario
the one
Kart
thing-
killer.
It's
There
there.
you go.
I guess other things of note. There was a Blaze Blue game, just their day one. Don't know how you could play a fighting game on that D-pad at the start. Maybe a problem. Michael Jackson's The Experience, if you want to pick that up. Rayman Origins, which was also this year, right? 3DS got
Great
Rayman 3D.
game.
This got Origins.
Great game.
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and there was another one that I had. Oh, Touch My Katamari, right? So, like, a pretty good launch lineup, actually.
Yeah, this is a pretty good launch lineup.
But I think they just sort of gave up at the end. After
I mean,
a
not the
while.
end. They gave up pretty soon
real
after.
quick.
Like it was like it was.
Yeah, it was real quick.
The end being June. Yeah, so that was 2011.
It's really weird that system wasn't more successful.
Is it weird?
It's such a good
you know, it
piece
was
of
too
hardware.
expensive, right? $250 as the 3DS established. Like people thought, oh, well, it's different with the Vita because it's more powerful. People didn't give a shit. Clearly, right?
Yeah.
$250 was too much.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's hard to like gauge.
I mean, I think the biggest failing of the Vita, more than anything, was the library.
Memory.
Right? It was just like, I think,
Well, I guess.
like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I love the Vita. I had a lot of fun times with the Vita, arguably more than the PlayStation 4 for most of its life. But you would be
Wow.
stupid to think that the Vita library is in anywhere near like decent. Like it's carried hard by some really cool indie games, some weeb
Hardcore
horse
weeb.
shit, you know.
Yep.
And
yeah. Where I think Danganronpa.
Danganronpa, yeah.
There was no other way to
Yeah,
put
and then
on
like
the Vita.
every now and then you get like something really cool like Tearaway or Gravity Rush, right? And then but that's it.
Wow. Those are the
Yeah.
only games you think are really
I mean,
cool. Not the weeb shit.
no, not.
Well, I think Sony fans will love to bring up. I mean, the Switch is really just like another Vita. You know, it's just a Vita. You know, without
People, I have heard the take that
With
the
an
Vita's a
HD
better handle than the Switch multiple times. Multiple times.
I hate those.
And
games.
they're all
I
wrong.
don't like you.
Who boy?
But I think that there is enough of a thing where, you know, when I talk about a lot of those launch games, they were games that were coming out on also console at the same time, right? And they could run on your handheld, right? So they're clearly, and like Switch has found huge success even with things that are on other systems. People just want to play them on handheld, right? But there wasn't like you said, that first party, right? That system seller that you use to get people in the door to buy their other games on that system, you know?
Yeah, but like we're saying how the launch was good. Like, I'm so surprised that it didn't catch on past that. But yeah, I guess the rest of the
the launch was good, but
like,
also,
it's
let's
just
be
a lot
honest,
of the
were any of those like, I'm gonna buy a $250 system day one? You know?
Uncharted.
I mean,
Uncharted.
an Uncharted that was widely regarded as an inferior product to the console Uncharted, right? Like, let's not, like you say, oh, it's Uncharted, but like, I think like what's different about, say, Breath of the Wild? Breath of the Wild is not just like a mini Legend of Zelda game, you know? It is a full on. In fact, it was a revolutionary Zelda game, right?
Yeah, I mean, the two biggest failures of this generation are the Vita and the Wii U, right? And I feel like they have opposite problems, right? Which is like, why would I play the baby version of my console game when I have my console, right? Versus, why would I play these bigger versions of 3DS games on my Wii U, right? Like, we started to see Nintendo and Sony both sort of like merge together, right? In terms of like their handheld and their consoles are getting close enough where there's not a strong separate identity. And for Sony, the answer was, we're just going to stop making handhelds. And for Nintendo, it was, we're going to stick these two together because our handhelds are our primary business, you know? Sorry if I interrupted.
No, yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, they... I mean, I think you're exactly right. Like, both Sony and Nintendo were just seeing, like, the kinds of games they were making for handhelds and the kinds of games that they were making for home consoles were not that different, I guess. But it was just like, there was no point. There was not much of a point in owning both. I think for both PlayStation and Nintendo, right? It was like, why do I need a Vita when the PS4 has everything that has but better? And then, you know, same thing with 3DS. It was just like, these are just, I'm good with my 3DS. It's cheaper. The games are cheaper, right? Like, it has Pokemon, you know? It's like...
Yeah, so, yeah, but 2011 still, I mean, like, you know, I wonder if there will be a year that we walk away and saying, oh, not a lot happened that year. There probably will be. Probably be 2014. No, consoles launched that year, I think. Anyways, but we'll continue to go this decade back. I think these are really interesting. Sorry if you all hate it. But a thing that no one hates, especially not Muzamil, is the list.
The list.
The list.
Follow along in the paste bin below is every week we add a game to an ever-growing list of video games, right? There is good, there is bad, there is ugly. This is not a top whatever. This is a end goal is every video game that's ever been made will one day be on this list.
Good luck.
We will achieve
I,
it.
for one, I can't wait for that.
Last week we continued on that quest by adding Pokemon Go. It got to 55 on the list. If you want to see what that means specifically in relation to other games around it, look at that dang old paste bin. We already brought it up. All right. Saf, you're going to be adding this week. What do you have for us?
Well, keeping with the theme of the topic of Resident Evil.
Okay.
We've got to add Resident Evil 6.
How many people have played RE6 in here?
I have.
I have.
Nope.
Nope.
No one else has?
No. Oh man, that's a funny one to me.
That's a very funny one. You're going to need
Yeah.
Noah in here for that one.
If only Noah was here. Oh
If
well.
only Noah was here. Someone
That is
text
fine.
him.
Hope you had a backup game.
I have indeed a backup game.
Oh, thank
Another
goodness.
Resident Evil.
No. I'll go for Mario Kart.
We already did that.
We already had a Mario Kart.
Sorry,
game.
It's already
Already on the
there.
list, Saf.
When was that?
It's at 119, which is too low. But,
How the
119.
hell did it get to 119?
You were
Was I
not there.
I was not
You
there.
were not there.
You were not there.
Why,
It's
do you
been a
want
while,
help?
Saf.
What a fucking awful thing to happen.
You
That was the
help?
week you
Why
didn't edit the
did you low?
podcast either, so that's the problem. You couldn't hear what happened.
Oh, I wasn't even on. Oh, God. Oh.
Yeah.
No, fucking.
Yeah, well,
Mario
Saf
Kart-
thinks.
wait,
Know that
wait.
Saf has the podcast every week. Thank you, Saf.
Yeah, that's definitely too low. Jeez.
Well, what else you got for us?
Re-rank.
Too
Well,
low?
What else you got for us?
yeah, I agree.
Just put it at number one.
Give me 1 second. Let me just double check. I had a list of shit that I could add that in case bad stuff happens, I could look.
Bad stuff happens. You know what? Also, I played RE6 one. Number one.
We all played Grease, GRIS.
I did.
I did.
Okay, we did it.
Sweet, we did it. We got
to 3.
We got there in the end, eventually.
You know what's really funny?
Yeah.
I just started playing
Really?
the game like 2 days ago.
Ooh.
It's leaving Game Pass at the end of this month for PC on Game Pass PC, and I was like, man, I really want to play this game.
Nice.
So I started playing it.
Would you like me to wait?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm gonna play it regardless. I've only just started it though, so I'm not gonna have a lot to say.
Yeah,
But,
no, that's what I was thinking.
go
Like,
ahead.
I could always just wait until...
No, go ahead.
What is Gris?
I would have just went back to fucking Resident Evil 5. Yeah, no, that's fine. So, Gris, it is literally... where do I begin? I think it started off on the Nintendo Switch as a platform game, a platformer. And it also came out on PC as well. And then eventually it came out on the PlayStation 4, if I
I
remember
think it's on
correctly.
Xbox.
No, it's
Yeah.
on PC and Switch. Then it came to iOS, and then it came to PS4, and then it came to Android.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Nope.
It's not even on
it's
Xbox.
not even on Xbox.
Oh, weird that it's on Xbox Game Pass, but
That is definitely bizarre. Yeah.
interesting.
But basically, it's a very artistic platformer, and it's just literally like a story of a girl who just wakes up and just basically, I think, just tries to find her own voice, and it's just like going through like her emotions. It's a very very beautifully drawn and animated game, through and through, and it's the platform itself is pretty fun. Not that challenging, but it has been pretty fun.
Yeah, it's pretty simplistic platforming.
Yeah,
for the most part.
absolutely. And the music itself is pretty ambient and pretty simplistic as well. And as you progress, you get a little bit more color in the game world itself, and a little bit more, just a tiny bit more music as well in terms of the diversity. It is just it's a short romp, and it's just a really fun short romp.
Yeah. Like every time you complete a certain section of the world, like color becomes, reintroduced into the world, and it becomes all the more beautiful. I would say the soundtrack is actually
Agreed.
amazing. I think you undersold
Yes.
it a little bit there, but yes, it's an incredible soundtrack. Essentially, it's a story about grief. It's between the lines a little bit, but there's a lot of like powerful imagery throughout the game, and it hits like it does a really good job at connecting, even though there are no words or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I beat this game in a single night. And I enjoyed it all the way through. Like, it was, I mean, and like, I know the platforming was simplistic, but it was still interesting. I always found it interesting, right? Like, the gameplay was interesting, and but like, obviously, you're here for the pretty aesthetic, you're here for like the, I guess, more environmental storytelling, I guess, right? Not like, but it was just a very beautiful game throughout, right? All these things come together in a way that really make you feel emotional throughout the journey, and especially towards the end, I guess, right? It was.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this a lot. It really was a really nice little game.
Yeah. Like, for me, like, personally, like, I just really, really admired the visuals and the art style for it. Like, that was the most standout part of this game for me. In terms of, like, how well they've, as I said before, like, adding the colors to the game world itself, and how beautifully designed it was. Like, that one was, like, that was the biggest highlight for the game, and it was just really enjoyable to watch through and through, as I played. And
Where do you want it?
And in terms of like the list itself, where I want it, like the issue is like it is quite simplistic and a short game, even though it is just incredibly fun. So I don't know if I want it as I would put it. I want to put it up. I'll put it below 3D Land,
Which is no.
What is that?
which is 91.
90?
It's a 90.
90?
91. You want to put it?
It's at 90 right
I was thinking a little bit lower, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, my brain was going. Okay, no, see. No, I can't do this, because this is another one of those, I just feel like you guys really underrated the game, right? Because my brain went to Goose Game, but you guys just really...
Wait, you want that game? This game that low?
No, you guys just really undersold Goose
That's
Game.
insane.
That's what happened.
No, I think we did all right.
You really fucked that one up, you guys.
Well, I think it's better than Goose Game.
Hard disagree.
Hard agree.
I'm still shocked that you fucked up Mario Kart DS. I still can't go with it.
I
think you'll be all right.
would put it, right under 3D Land doesn't offend me. Well, yeah, it does. I would probably throw it below Stardew.
God almighty, you are a roller coaster of fucking crazy.
Okay. Below Stardew
is what I'm feeling.
Man, oh man.
Below Stardew? Really?
The incredulity of that, moving 2 spots, I think is very funny.
I would put this above fucking Indivisible.
I mean, that might be another game that's too
I
high.
would put this in like the Super Meat Boy area.
Super Meat Boy area. That's 62.
What number is that?
62.
Okay, so pretty decent jump.
Quite a significant jump. Shit, I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, it connects, man. Like, it does what it wants to do very, very well. Like, the soundtrack is fantastic. The art style is fantastic. Platforming is...
I said
what?
so is Goose Game, but Goose Game gets...
No, I don't think the soundtrack...
No, it does what it wants, Excels.
No, yeah, I mean, it
Goose
does.
what it wants.
I don't think it connects the same way.
I haven't played Indivisible, but that seems way
at least
too
not for
high
me.
for that game. But, whatever.
It is. I think.
Well, we can have that discussion at a later date.
Yeah, sure.
What if we put it right above Donkey Kong
I need
Country?
to go back into it.
77.
Where's that?
Where's that?
I'm less aggrieved by this. I mean, that's fine with me, I guess.
Saf?
Sure. I haven't played
Donkey Kong Country?
No, not that. I haven't played the other games on the list above it, aside from Super Mario
like
Brothers,
WarioWare
and only a bit of Indivisible.
I mean, I would put it above Super Mario Brothers for sure.
would not.
You're a mark.
Probably. Saf, you good with that? Above DKC? Below WarioWare?
Yeah, put it above DKC. Put it above DKC. I don't say put it above
Come on.
WarioWare, but I remember that I didn't play Mario.
But put it above Mario. That's what you should have said. Come on,
Yeah,
Saf.
but I
You still
like
got a
Mario.
chance. I haven't typed it yet. You still have a chance.
Nah, you're good, Saf. You're good. Donkey Kong Country.
Come on, Saf.
Is it locked in? We need a lock.
I'm hovering over the
Close
G.
this door.
I'm looking at
Fuck.
above Donkey Kong.
God.
Okay, so there it is at number 77 on the list, right? We have Gris, I don't know how you're supposed to say it. 75, Super Mario Brothers. 76, WarioWare Mega Micro Games. Number 77, Gris. Number 78, Donkey Kong Country. 79, Banjo-Kazooie. It sort of became like a bad radio DJ there for a second. Please take it away from me. I don't want to do the plugs or the final phrase. Someone do them.
Yeah, someone.
Who are
yeah,
you?
Someone.
Someone
Who are you?
step up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take whatever.
Mozzie, you got the
not to-
plug. Saf,
Okay.
you got the final phrase.
I feel like Brandon should do the plugs, to be honest. 'Cause he knows how to plug it. He's he's an expert.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'll do the plugs. Hello, everybody. If you enjoyed listening to the Jump Up Supercast, make sure you check us out on your favorite podcast listening service of your choice, whatever that may be, whether that's SoundCloud, iTunes, or YouTube. Just not Spotify, because, we're not going to make you pay $10 a month to listen to us. What the fuck? Come on. New episodes go up every Monday. And we have another show called the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, where new episodes go up every other Thursday, except for this Thursday, because we forgot. But that's fine. Every other Thursday, though, you can check out the Game Club. the same day this episode goes up. We're giving you a little bonus. The Hercules episode's going up. So we just recently played Hercules for the game club, and next we're playing Police Knots. So if you're interested in hearing us talk about those games, make sure you give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share. Feel free to let us know. Where have you played Greece? Where do you think it would go on the list? What is your favorite game that came out in the year of our Lord 2011? Please let us know in the comments below. And if you want to support the podcast, you certainly can do that on patreon.com, where for $1 a month, just look us up, Jump Up Supercast. You get the chance to choose one of our Game Club games every round. You can also get access to our Discord server and talk to us about video games there. And you can support us on twitch.tv/jumpupsupercast as well. We play video games on there, decent amount of time. And if you want to give us a follow, you can find out when we're playing. And, you can sub, hang out, do what you want. It's a fun time. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to stay up to date on everything when we post episodes and all of that. We'll make sure we post them on social media so you know there's a new episode up. So just want to say thank you guys. Thank you everybody for listening. And go out there, play video games, be nice to each other. And whoever is taking away the final phrase, do it now, because I don't remember who is doing it. So have fun.
Excellent. So, back in the Resident Evil 6, not Resident Evil 6, back in Resident Evil 8 topic, there's been a lot of fan cry for the tall lady in Resident Evil 8, and I have to say, y'all need Jesus.